Hello, engineering fam. Welcome to another episode of Elevated. I am your host, the Elevated Engineer. How y'all doing? So today, as y'all can tell from the from the title, I had the absolute pleasure of getting to watch Top Gun Maverick, and I'm gonna review it today. So yeah, I definitely been looking forward to this, and as usual, our check-in. Go ahead and drop a like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, engineering fam. So as usual, you know we like to break it down into a number of different ways. First of all, we like to introduce our cast of characters. For this, we already know who it is. You know, Tom Cruise is definitely playing the same character. Stretch the screen. Sorry, everyone. There we go. So of course the man, the myth, the legend, Maverick is back for another round of the Top Gun program. And he's looking for a select elite group of candidates. Navy aliens. I'm sorry. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, though. But yeah, so man, Tom Cruise is back, man, and I was excited. I'm excited. I think we all been waiting for him to come back and do this for 35 years, 40 years. I believe the original came out in 1986, so we're definitely happy about that. So let's go ahead and get into our cast of characters. I was definitely excited because there's a few people that made the comeback, of course. First one being, of course, Tom Cruise. And, of course, your boy. Anybody who knows me on some non-weirdo shit, you might as well say Val Kilmer to me is like the cool white uncle. So I can't lie. Full disclaimer before, I'm a huge fan of Val Kilmer since like back in the day. You know, that's been my guy since you know what I mean. But you know, the Iceman makes his return, man. You know, the Iceman makes his return. He comes back, and he makes his return. But I believe he's like a admiral now. He's like a high up there admiral too. Like he's like 4-star or something like that. See, that's the problem. See, I always want to go to IMDb, but I don't really like IMDb's interface. But Google's is also like not nearly. It doesn't look good enough, man. So let's let this load up real quick. So yeah, Val Kilmer, he plays Admiral Tom Kaczynski. Of course, Tom Cruise is Captain Mitchell, aka Maverick, Pete Mitchell. The new characters was it Jennifer Connelly chick? She was in the first one, wasn't she? Or she wasn't. I know it was that blonde hair. Was it Meg Ryan? I think it was Meg Ryan. Hold on. Original cast. I thought it was Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan. No, that was that was Goose's girl. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he has his new love interest. Because remember, his first was his blonde chick. Okay, gotcha. So Jennifer Connelly is his new love interest. Fantastic job. Also coming in new is you got my man Miles Taylor, who he's actually plays Goose's son. His name is Lieutenant Bradley Rooster, of course, Bradshaw. So that's his son. So that makes for some contentious scenes. We got Bashir Salahuddin. I think that's my man from Southside. Ain't that my man from Southside? Hold on, y'all trying to play me. I think that's my man from Southside. Hold on. Yeah, that is my man from Southside. I'm not tripping. I am not tripping. Okay, so next we got John Hamm. He plays this guy, Admiral. He plays Cyclone. Admiral Simpson. He goes in like he plays that tough guy, tough boss role. He goes in though. John, you give him a little respect because he's like a general in this. So it's like yeah. You got Charles Parnell. He plays Warlock. I don't really know where he's from, but he does an admiral job. They got a whole cast. My man Jay Ellis. Now, first of all, let's talk about her. Monica Barbaro. First of all, she cute as hell. But yeah, this chick, Monica Barbaro, she's pretty as hell. But yeah, so she's playing Phoenix. So they're basically assembling this whole team. So this guy, where have I seen this guy, Lieutenant Pullman, from? Where have I seen that guy? I feel like I've seen him in some stuff. Hold on. Where have I seen this guy from? Who is it? Lewis Pullman was born. I know he was in. I feel like I see this dude with something else. Or he's like, kind of played an asshole. But no, okay, Lewis Pullman, whatever. I don't know who he is. Monica Barbaro chick look good though. Okay, so who else was some kind of known? They had a whole cast. Oh yeah. I had to. That was Darnell. I knew that was Darnell. Salute to Darnell. Fuck that. I'm gonna give my man some shine. Salute to Darnell. Doing this thing as usual. Representing KC. Strong. As soon as I saw Darnell, I was like, is that Darnell? Darnell being so much shit, man. Salute to him. But anyways, so yeah, no, Ed Harris. There he is. Yeah, they had General Hummel in this motherfucker. Yo, they had General Harris. I've asked you as my friend. I give you an order as your commanding officer. Now you're talking to a man with a gun. They got General Hummel, man. Salute to General Hummel. He's still playing generals, yo. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, salute to him, man. Salute to General Hummel, man. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, if you ain't seen The Rock, listen, if you ain't seen The Rock, then, I mean, this is pretty much in that vein of The Rock. I mean, look, it's we're getting into the plot. Let's get into it. I mean, this thing, this this thing's got everything, man. American propaganda is heavy. Hold on, folks. And honestly, I gotta keep it a buck, man. We kind of need a little bit of some pro-American propaganda. Cause we know it's propaganda now. At least I do, but we kind of need some of that, man, because it's shit. Bro, the state of America is right now, and when I get to the philosophy, that's gonna be my philosophy for this video. Getting into American freedom and power, and I'm American, the perception of America, 2022. That'll be my little thing. I kind of come up with the philosophy as I go, if you haven't noticed already. But yeah. So. The plot is pretty straightforward. It's very 1980s, kind of. It's cheesy, but in a good way. It's like American, like exceptionalism, like all that stuff that we used to eat up in the Cold War days. Obviously, me being my age, this movie came out the year after the original movie came out, the year after I was born. So, I definitely, Tom Cruise, Top Gun has always kind of been a part of my life, more or less. So, it comes from the fact that, in the opening scene, you get like, Tom Cruise, aka the Maverick character. He's like in a test pilot program. Test like they test like the most advanced high speed vehicles. They talk about they go through all the lists: the F-35, the F-16, the F-14, all this blah blah blah. So he's test flying this plane, and he has to get it's crazy because he has to get up to 10 G's, right? 10 G's. Like, for most people that don't understand, that's 10 times what you weigh now. And it's crazy because when you're going that fast, I think what's the speed of, what is the speed of sound? The speed of sound is Mach something. Hold on, let's look up. What Mach is the speed of sound? Okay. As modeled in the international standard atmosphere, dry air at mean sea level, standard temperature. What are you talking? The speed of sound is 340.3 meters per second. So what is Mach 5 then? So Mach 1 is the speed of sound? So what's the speed? Oh, so the speed of sound. Okay, well, so what Mach? So is Mach 1? Holy crap. Mach 1 speed is 767 miles per hour. Holy crap. I didn't know that. That's really fast. And he's going Mach 10. So what's Mach 10 speed? Well, obviously. 7,672.69 miles per hour. That's too fast. And what's the speed of sound? Man, in miles per hour. I'm American, bro. So Mach 1 is the speed of sound. Okay, now, and we just learned something today. We just learned something. Mach 1 is the speed of sound, everyone. Okay, gotcha. Gucci. All right. So he's in this test flying program, and he's instructed yo, you gotta get this thing up to 10 Mach 10, or they're shutting down the program. Of course, right? So he's just like, of course he doesn't go over 10 miles or Mach 10, right? Like he just he pretty much is just like, yeah, I'm gonna go exactly Mach 10. The guy says, and remember, don't go 10.1, don't go 10.2, don't go 10.3. We're all like, yeah, he's gonna go 10.3. So he does a thing, and he ends up breaking out to Mach 10, and then of course he goes to 1, 2, and 3, and of course he crashes it. I mean, for those people who don't understand about like gravity and stuff, like, okay, understand that the force of gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared, right? So if you're going Mach 10, which is 10 times the speed of sound, you weigh how many G-forces is that? How many G-forces? Let's see, because we go break this down, because this is very interesting, and for speed and physics and stuff, this is a learning moment. How fast is a G-force in a mile per hour? This is Google search. How many G's? Okay, see, I would say how many G's in Mach 10? Sustained G forces. So Mach is the speed of sound. Mach 1 is the speed of sound, and G forces is okay. When you are a flyer jet, you must consider G forces a numerical ratio of any applied force to the gravitational force of the Earth's surface. Okay, so I just said the Earth's gravitational force on its surface is 9.8 meters per second squared. He's traveling at Mach 10, which is he's getting 10 times that. That's too much. It's too fast, in other words. It's too fast. Okay, so he gets this program, and basically the admiral is about ready to shit can him, but he's just like, but you got orders back to, of course, Top Gun, right? So if you got orders to Top Gun, make sure y'all can see everything. Whatever. Okay, so if you got orders, you got orders to Top Gun, he's like, what you want me to do? He gets there, and they're like, yo, what do you want me to do? Like, you want me to, you got this mission for me. So he basically gets there, and lo and behold, the orders come from, Iceman, Val Kilmer. Now, really good thing, because as we know, Val Kilmer has been sick. I think he's been going through cancer or something like that. But I believe he lost his voice. I'm 100% sure about that. I think they did a documentary on it, as a matter of fact. That's something I need to watch. But yeah, with Val Kilmer, like, he's still Iceman. Iceman's like an admiral, like 4-star. Keep in mind, this man Maverick is like a captain. And I love seeing Val. That's my guy. But one big thing that I really love that they implied that really kind of, it almost was like, I mean, I ain't no hard, but it almost brought me to tears, because it was like, damn, everybody got in, you know what I'm saying? But Maverick never got out. And you just like, damn, you think about it, he got in at like probably 85, 86. And, I was born in 85. I myself would go and do 5 years, around a little over 5 years. A little around 5 years. A little over 5 years. 5 years. Around 5 years in the military. But I didn't join the military until like 2005, right? And then I got out. But if you think about it, all the people who joined the military between 1985 and by the time this movie comes out in 2022 was about well, the movie came out in 86, so that's about 36 years, something like that. Yeah, 36 years. So all the people, like Maverick was still in. Maverick was fighting in every war that whole entire time. Like Maverick was in Desert Storm. They even go through his record. They like, yo, he's in Iraq and Bosnia both times. Like, this dude has been in, and he's still a freaking captain. Cause there are guys like that. I'm about to go on a little bit of a rant, not too long, but there are guys like that. Okay, there are guys who are, you kind of forget about him. I mean, his boys still know he's in, but you know, you kind of forget about them because they like, yo, you going on with your life and stuff. You forget all about the military and stuff. There's dudes who stay in the military. I remember there was this colonel. He's very world renowned. I'm not gonna give his name out, but he's very renowned for for his significant contributions. This guy, when I met him, this was 2008. This guy had been in since like 84, 82 or something. Like, it was, you know, no, I think he was there since like the 70s. I'm sorry. He was there since like the 70s, late 70s. Dudes just be in forever. Completely. Society kind of forgets about him. And that's one of the big things about this show, too. It's like, society kind of forgets about guys like this because, you know, they go on. We got these drones now. Everybody thinks they're so cool with, you know, whatever. They're effective, you know, but they're not fighter pilots. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, okay, they're called drone pilots, but they're not aviators like Navy aviators, bro. It's not the same thing. Yeah, it's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against it to those guys. Salute them. But if you're sitting at home playing the game, it's not the same as a dude who's out there flying, getting shot at. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. I'm good. So, Maverick comes back. He comes back to Top Gun, and he thinks he's basically going to be doing a high speed, high security, like, type mission. And they like, nah, we don't want you to do that. Of course, plot, we want you to teach the next candidates to do it. Right? He's just like, yo, somebody is gonna get shot down on this mission. Like, this is almost impossible. It's, you know, one thing that's really crazy, because you'll notice it, like, they never actually explicitly say who the enemy is. And now that I think about it, in the original, I don't think they ever said who the actual enemy is, which is interesting because you think about it, because like, okay, of course, well, who the hell, what other country's military in 2022 can match our air superiority right now? America has had air superiority since, like, I mean, it's arguable if you could say post-World War II, but definitely post-Vietnam. America has had air superiority for that long. So all they say is the enemy. Okay, all right. Well, the enemy is whoever you want them to be. But there's only a few different contenders in real life. It could be. I mean, China has a military, but they don't have air superiority yet. And even then, I don't think they playing game is where ours is. They jet game. I don't think so. Not yet. Russia, but Russia got like old shit. So I mean, they still got some heat. They got some nasty fighters, I would imagine. But come on, bro, y'all can't even handle Ukraine. But actually, they kind of turn it around. But even still, come on, they don't have. They got it's the MiGs, right? It was the MiGs, whatever. Okay, all right, well, fine. So North Korea. Maybe. I mean, you never really see any of the faces of the actual enemy. You just see, like, the pilots all geared up, so you can't really tell who they're. Because if you see who any of the pilots' faces, it's going to show their face. All right, like, he's either a white guy or he's kind of an Asian-looking guy. So it's only a few other people that could be. And we can't do that because China probably bankrolled 50% of this movie. So let's keep it real. So you never really see who the enemy is, but they have the impossible mission to do on the enemy. And like the pilots, they're not ready for it, man. Like they're not ready. And this is where you kind of get introduced to the cast of characters. It's basically a younger version of the original Top Gun candidates. So one of the main characters you get introduced to is actually the guy Rooster. And Rooster is Goose's son. And at the beginning, like, you don't really know how, like, their relationship is, because you kind of see that, Rooster and Maverick have had a pretty strong, positive relationship. Just by the way that, you see he has pictures of him when he's a kid, he's growing up and stuff. But you can see there's some tension. You don't really know why. I mean, I'm not going to reveal why that they have some tension, but it's pretty significant. Like it's they kind of throw you because it's not what you think it is. You're like, oh, okay, that is kind of okay. I got you. So that's where you get to introduce to the whole team. So finally, once the team is introduced, you go ahead and you start moving into the actual training phase, because they actually have. It's like, okay, they got this ridiculous mission where they gotta like dive in and like blow some shit up and like shoot some precision bombs and like blow some more shit up, and it's like, whatever, okay, sure. Top Gun. Then they start the program and they have like 3 weeks to actually be able to complete it against the enemy. And once they start trying to, you start getting the personalities coming out, and so they have to weed out. It's just like the original. They had to basically weed out like the who's gonna be on team, who's not gonna be on the team. I think they gotta get like 6 people or something like that. Either way, they all suck. Like, so the problem is a lot of them are like, they're so used to being coddled to, and they're so used to have people kicking their ass because they are certainly good pilots. But Maverick's like, yeah, y'all might be good, but he does the typical, here's the book, and like throws it, here's your flight manual, throws it in the trash. And so they got to make the team do the mission, blah blah blah. Okay, so cool, blah blah blah. We get that part. It's pretty cool though. The action scenes are just ridiculous. Let's get into the part where I'm getting into where I do and what I did and what I don't like. Okay, I loved the action. I think we all did. I mean, it just brought you back. Like, yes, yes, this is what we've been missing. Like, this is what we've been missing. Listen, you know how a fan of Marvel I am. Everyone knows that I'm a fan of Marvel. Hello. Hello. Everyone knows that I'm a fan of Marvel, but you know it kind of was nice knowing that there's not going to be a sequel or mid-credit scene or end-credit scene or how does this tie into. It was just nice to just see a summer freaking blockbuster. Tom Cruise, the man, doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like, oh, the action was just, oh my God. Oh my God. The action took you back. Like, it took you back to the 80s. Like, it made you miss the 80s. It made you miss the 80s. It made you miss the that time, the 90s. You know, I was in the 80s. I was a kid during the 80s, so it was dope either way. I just missed the cartoons and shit from the 80s and Michael Jackson. But it took you back to the 80s, man, because it's like, yo, you know, when movies were just like movies, go popcorn, there was no social media. There was, and that's another thing. That's another thing that's, you know, you didn't see the cast of characters on social media, shit like that. Granted, they're in the military, they're probably a little more focused or whatever, but you didn't really get to see, like, you know, the effects of modern post social media, post 9/11 really society. I mean, yeah, some, but you know, it was definitely like, man, there's some scenes where it's just like, how in the hell? And you know, Tom Cruise be doing a lot of his own stunts. So a lot of this crap was like, man, how in the hell are they doing this? How are these planes able to move like that? How are they able to move like that? Because, man, the G forces of just doing those stunts has got to be crazy. And salute to the man. Jeez, who directed this? Jerry Bruckheimer? Who directed this? Matter of fact, since y'all playing with me, who directed this? Director, Top Gun. Was it Bruckheimer? It wasn't Bruckheimer, was it? Joseph Kosinski. What the hell else has he done? Oblivion, Maverick. Oh, I did like Tron Legacy. All right. Well, yeah, man. Salute to Joseph Kosinski, man, because this was definitely brought together very well. You could tell they just. Tom Cruise is very, very particular. You could tell that, like, he's like, listen, man, I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I got a Mount Rushmore of white dudes, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Tom Cruise, all right. I got a Mount Rushmore of white dudes. Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Eminem. Who else? Abraham Lincoln. That's my Mount Rushmore of white boys. Okay. Oh, can I switch out Abraham Lincoln for Brad Pitt? Okay, well, just in case, I can put 5. I'm gonna put Brad up there. That's my Mount Rushmore of white dudes. Okay, those are white dudes who, you know, they don't have a permanent pass. If Tom Cruise comes out and says something crazy about black folks, you know, fuck him. But he does definitely have. He can come to the barbecue. He can get himself a plate. You know what I'm saying? Get a drink. You know what I mean? He can sit in for the day. You know, blah blah blah. All those white dudes I just named come to the barbecue. They're certified. Stamp. Okay. So anyways. So, you know, what I did love as well, you know, I love the, I love the actual camaraderie they show, but also the competitive nature. The camera angles were just crazy. Where you just see him and going when he's starting off on a lot of those jets. I love that stuff, man. That's like real movie stuff, like real like this. That's why you go to the cinema, to see these types of movies, man, because these are the types of movies that you watch, and then you have kids, and then 30 years later, your kid grows up and he watches it with his kids. You know what I mean? These are those types of movies, especially from that era. That's the era of the 80s, man. That's you know what I mean. That was more or less kind of a goodish era. It's before shit started getting canceled. You cancel. You say the wrong thing. You cancel. So I definitely love that. The cinematography was just crazy. The ways for them to capture the sun and capture you being inside of the actual cockpit of a F-16. Like you felt like you was inside of it. I believe the transitions were great. It definitely harkens back to the era where we didn't have CGI as heavy. And it was just like, yo, we got to kill at least 2 dudes on this movie to make this movie. We got to kill at least 2 stuntmen. We got to kill at least 2. I love that aspect. I feel like Tom Cruise was great. This is a, he even gave a whole little introduction before the movie and everything. He was just like, "Thank you for your patience," blah blah blah. I never met the guy, but that guy has always been, Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? I hope Tom Cruise don't end up slapping somebody. He has gone off a couple of times, but that's still my man, though. What else did I like? I definitely like the new crop of characters, the cast. They definitely sold you on the fact that they were going through some real training that most people. There's times you can look at shit, you be like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. There's times you can look at stuff, I can do that bullshit. Or you look at stuff like Fast and the Furious, where you're just like, I can't do this. It's too fake. Like it's not real. Like it's not, you know what I mean? But with like movies like this, back to this age, it was real back then. Like it was real, like in depth. It was real like pro America too. Like say what you will about America. I mean, look, this is my country. I love it. Is it perfect? No. Will I criticize it? Always. But I still love America, and sometimes you just need to see some shit that's like, yo, like, fuck the other side. This is America. You know what I mean? We need a clean cut white boy to show us what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like to give us the version of America that's ideal. That's supposed to be, all that Captain America shit. So I really love that. So moving on and getting into philosophy, which is of course my favorite part as a philosopher. I really do want to examine the idea of American exceptionalism. I want to examine if such a thing actually exists. I believe movies like Top Gun, Maverick highlight American exceptionalism, whatever that may be. Excuse me. And it highlights this to the fact that, I mean, there is some American exceptionalism. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Time will tell. But there's a certain stigma about America that we're all this, military might, we only care about money. and that we, are special. And by we, I'm using the term we loosely because I think United States of America is kind of a business. It's more of a business than a country. And I believe that stuff like this movie kind of it highlights. Look at all the money that we're spending on these jets. Look how many jets we lost in the entire movie. We probably lost a few different jets, like 3 or 4 maybe. Things are billions of dollars. I know for a fact the F-35 is. I think one jet is like $10 billion or something like that. Probably more than that. Like, it's ridiculous. But America has changed. America has changed because we are actually we're moving in a direction where it's almost like you can't even be proud to be an American anymore. I mean, isn't it? I mean, you turn on the news, you see, all types of horrible things every night. You see not movies. Well, it looks like movies now when you go on social media and stuff. And, there was a time when we used to go on the internet to escape seeing all the crazy nonsense we see in the real world. Now you got to go to the real world to escape what's going on in the internet. And movies like these kind of help you to escape like all the BS stuff going on, man. So I mean, it's crazy when you think about how much America has changed from the 80s to the 2020s. If you think about it, that decade that was really like, because the 90s was like, it was good, but it really wasn't. They thought it was good, like, because we had credit everywhere, but prices were still low. You could still afford college. When this movie came out, you could afford college. Mostly. When the original movie came out, you could afford college. Now you can't afford college unless you got somebody paying for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Back in the day, you could kind of be free. In the 80s, you can kind of be. I'm not saying they didn't have jobs or anything. What I'm saying is that back in the 80s, you weren't really worried about competing against the rest of the world as much. Globalization really hadn't hit as much, and America was still on top of the world when this movie came out. But even then, things were starting to change. But you can see that, for example, when I was talking about the enemy, they can't name that the enemy, the only real country on this earth, unless this is in a multiverse, which you never know, but only real country on this earth that can have any type of Air Force that can compete with the United States would be China. And China does not have that capability yet. They will eventually, but their military, I don't believe China's military is ever going to be at the level of the United States. Period. I just don't think that. But here's the thing, they don't really need to, because they have so much money invested in the United States. What are we gonna do? Go to war with the motherfuckers we owe? We might. But no. But when this original movie came out, China wasn't what it is now. Russia was the Soviet Union, I believe, at this time still. When did the Soviet Union collapse? Adjusting this damn mic all day. When did the Soviet Union collapse? I'm looking at. When did the Soviet Union fall? Like, what year? It was like 91. Okay, so this movie came out in 86. At this point, we didn't know that the Cold War was 5 years from being over. We thought it was still gonna be the same thing. This is a Cold War era movie. And that's it's just a different way of looking at it, because at that point in time in history, we thought that America was exceptional, or at least America thought that it was exceptional. The world knew it wasn't that exceptional, but we had the propaganda. There was also, remember, when this original movie came out, there was no Nollywood, there was no Chinese there was no real significant Chinese competition for movies and films as well either. Even though I'm sure China and Saudi royal family probably invested money into this flick, but there was no real competition. Like, there was no real competition in the global stage for the U.S. in terms of like commerce. There was no real competition for the U.S. in terms of military. There's no real terms of competition in terms of like technology. In terms of technology, investments and stuff like that. Yeah, you had places like Japan and stuff, but it's not the same. Japan's an ally and stuff like. I'm talking about like real competition of people. If we went to war with them tomorrow, we don't know if we gonna win. That type of competition. So back when the original came out, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a different world. Crack was in the hood, way more. You know what I'm saying? So in parts of the hood, it was still chaos. It was chaos in the hood. In the 80s, and in the 90s, it was chaos in the hood. It's not chaos in the hood like it was. It's not. How do you know? How often are you in the hood? I be in and out of the hood. I don't live in the hood, but I be in and out. But I've been that motherfucker. I'm telling you, it's not the same. Crack ain't what it was. Crack is still gonna be crackheads, of course, and crack dealers. But it ain't like the crack era. They called it the crack era, the 80s. This movie came out during the crack era, 86. Come on, I'm telling you. So it's just the world has changed significantly in these last. It's like almost 40 years. Well, 36 or whatever. It has changed significantly. So you really can't. You can't blame the movie studio director, whatever, for saying the enemy as the opposing force to Maverick. I mean, they can always just say, it's a parallel universe. That's what everybody else is saying. Yeah. So I do believe that a big thing about this movie was like kind of going through life and more or less like the journey of that. Like, you get old, your friends get old. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kind of move through life. Y'all split apart. Y'all do y'all's thing. But at the end of the day, y'all, it always comes back to that. Like, it always comes back to like, kind of doing what's right for you. Like, there's actually a really good line where one of the dudes, I believe it's a character, Goose, Rooster. He's just like, yeah, man, you could do this. This is perfect for you. You don't have any wife or kids, so you ain't got nothing to lose if you go out there and die. And at this point in time, this is like right when things are getting intense, because during the training and building up for this mission, they get some news that's like, yo, y'all got a week less time, you know what I'm saying, that y'all need to complete this mission. So everybody's on edge or whatnot. But it is to an extent like, what are you gonna, in terms of bringing stuff in with the camaraderie and all this, what are you gonna sacrifice? You know what I'm saying, for your dreams, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about Tom Cruise Maverick, he been in the military for all these years. How do you even start a life with that? And especially when you're always Oscar Mike, you're always on the move, you're always on the move, you're always on. Yeah, like he can't even really hold a real like steady relationship because it's like, well, he gotta go here, he gotta go to. It's the military life, the typical military life. But man, that sacrifice. That sacrifice to achieve your dreams, like that's part of the process. Like you're not gonna be able to hang with everybody. You're not gonna be able to like, you know, get off course, man, because you can't really get off course when you're shooting your stuff, man. That's what they're all about in this movie. It's like, yo, you stay on your course. The mission they're going on obviously is dangerous and it's high risk and all this stuff. But they willing to put their life on the line for whatever this. That's one thing that did bother me. By the way, I got to give my rating. My rating for this movie is going to be a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 100%. Only thing it fell off short, there was a couple of plot holes. There was a couple of missed opportunities, I think, to explain some things. Wait a second. Why would you put the guy who's known for crashing planes and teach these new motherfuckers coming in? Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10. But my philosophy is I believe that with Tom Cruise, I think he is a bit of a perfectionist. And I'm not mad at him for that because, first of all, that new Mission Impossible trailer, oh my God. They played the Mission Impossible trailer before this, and I started going crazy. Because I see Mission Impossible every time it comes out. But I think Tom Cruise is a perfectionist, and I'm not mad at him because I feel like that's what kind of like I am to an extent. I think that Tom Cruise is a guy who kind of, I think he really, really gets into his work. I think he's really, he's really focused. He goes crazy sometimes, man. But, we all go crazy sometimes. But I still fuck with Tom Cruise, man. I still fuck with him heavy. I do love the fact that he tried to bring as many of the original cast, because I'm sure he's an executive producer or a producer. He tried to bring back as many of the original cast as he could. I do love the fact that you can tell, like, listen, bro, like, I feel like Val Kilmer is kind of, he's kind of sick. And I feel like him and Tom Cruise actually probably had, I feel like they have some type of relationship, in real life. Because they were giving a speech, he was talking, and at this point, he's an admiral, and, he's like a scene. He didn't want Goose's kid, Maverick didn't want Goose's kid, Rooster, on this mission because he knew it was a dangerous one, and he didn't want to lose him like he lost his father, right? At this point, Iceman can't talk, right? And as we all know, Val Kilmer, he can't talk very much anymore. And it was kind of a good moment. It was kind of a nice moment, but he's kind of giving him a send-off. Like, you could tell it's kind of giving him a send-off. He's talking about, you got to let it go. And that was the one thing that really kind of hit. Like, I know they were talking about the character Rooster and Goose, but in real life, I feel like they were talking more about Val and all of us, and kind of letting it be what it be, man. Like, that era is over, and a lot of us grew up with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer, man. A lot of us grew up with these guys, and we grew up, you know, the world changed a little bit, but those movies didn't. You know what I mean? And we remember how they made us feel. And they made us feel like a certain kind of way. Like they made us feel like we're proud to be here. And then we all grew up. And Tom Cruise still looks relatively the same age. It is what it is, man. Like I can respect the fact that he wants to revisit his work. I know for a fact that my game ain't never gonna be finished. And I don't mean that in the fact that it won't ever be released. I mean to a fact that I'm going to be working on it ad infinitum or until, whatever. It's I'll move on to other stuff once this game is released. But I'm always gonna come back and work on my original work. And that's what Tom Cruise does. I mean, look, like, you release something that and people love, and then you move on and you do other stuff. But people always associate you with that one thing. Even if we're not talking about just strictly movies, but they associate you with that one thing, but then you move on to different stuff. And even if you move on to different stuff, and even if you change some way, you can still go back to your original place and kind of re-examine. It's like, yo, how can I do this better? How can I do this? How can I do that? Who can I put on? How much more money will it take? Blah, blah, blah. And that's for anything. I mean, for me, even seeing Darnell Kirkwood, for those who don't know, he and I went to the same high school, but I see other people who I went to high school with doing good things. I'm like, yes, great, awesome. But when I see people like Darnell, it takes me back to KC. Growing up there, and I loved it. I love my people there, but I also had to leave KC. Right now, I'm in Miami. And I can sit up there and look at somebody from KC still doing this thing. And be like, yeah, I'm happy I got to, meet this person or do that or do this. That's the same thing with, I believe, this movie. I think that Tom Cruise is like, y'all, it was a once, I'm happy I got to work with these people, and I want to work with them again if possible. And that's kind of how you had to be with everything in life and success. And that's why you see a lot of times in the movie business, you see a lot of the same actors working with each other in different projects. Because like, yo, if we already work good on this, we go work good with anything else. You got to do that in everything that you kind of do. Because, I mean, that's life. Like, that's collaboration, man. Like, you're not going to just be Maverick. You're not gonna be Maverick forever. Like you're eventually you're gonna get old. You're gonna have to retire. You know what I'm saying? But while you're here, try to work with people as best you can. Try to always keep learning. Learn from the youth and learn from your elders. Learn from those senior to you in your organization. If you own your own business, then learn from your employees or learn from your investors. Whatever. Keep learning from people, man. Always push it. Always push it. You know what I mean? As much as possible. Take calculated risks. I mean, that's what this whole movie is about, calculated risks. I mean, the military is calculated risks, if you want to call it that. But that's, that's just like how you kind of got to live your life. This movie takes me back, man. This movie was have me so nostalgic, man. So this is like kickboxer days. You know what I mean? Like for you as an adult, like, and it's just nice to see you know what I'm saying, Tom come back to his roots and really kind of show out the way he's supposed to. Like this is what a good film is supposed to be. Like this is this is what you should do when you make it to the top and you look around and you know, there's only a few of your peers still there. You know what I mean? And there's only and that list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You know what I'm saying? And you know, with Tom Cruise doing this Maverick, taking that shit to the danger zone, you gotta go ahead and salute. You know? So with that being said, that has been another episode of Elevated Reviews. Man, I love this movie. I cannot lie. Make sure you drop a like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everything. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse today. I was running in the rain. So, make sure you go ahead, subscribe up. I appreciate all the love. I've been getting more and more followers. We're growing. It's kind of crazy how many followers I've been getting in the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate the love. So with that being said, engineering fam, I'm your host, the Elevated Engineer. That's it.